Hello, and welcome back to Tell. My name is Busi, and this podcast is on poker and love. I'm joined by my co-host, Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
I didn't say Andrew Neeme today.
You can't break from tradition just because of one commenter. If you have learned anything on YouTube, you can't let one person get into your mind. Sure, let.
Commenters rule the channel.
That's true. They do. They run my life.
They run your...
Mm-hmm. I make all my decisions based around the comment section.
Especially the negative ones.
Focus heavily on those.
So.
It's key to life.
Key to a healthy, happy life.
Yes. Do whatever the trolls suggest.
All right.
I'm not saying Shalette is a troll. I went further down the comment conversation away from you, Shalette.
How was your week, Andrew Neeme?
It was pretty good. Can't complain about this week. I achieved my goal, by the way.
You did?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think I did, at least.
Remind the listeners of the podcast what your goal was.
Goal was to get the top tier rewards level on WSOP.com.
Wonderful.
So basically you have to play a lot of hands.
Did you make money in this process as well?
Yeah. We're up a little bit. I'm still very much on that learning path of Pot Limit Omaha. But,
so you played Pot Limit Omaha exclusively?
Strictly.
To reach this goal?
Yeah. The occasional tournament too. But yeah, the 4-card Pot Limit.
Well, congratulations.
Well, the thing is that normally there's a notification from the site when you achieve each level, and I haven't gotten any sort of notification yet. But it does say 0 points to go and 100% of the way there. But I don't know what's going on. So there's an email to the support team in my near future.
Maybe they just overwhelmed with the sheer number, the sheer volume of people who are trying to get this elite. What was the elite status
Champions Club.
Too many people trying to join the Champions Club. That's what's happening.
Maybe they're going to send someone over here because it's such a big deal.
With a placard.
With like bottle service, you know how they bring other people out with the sparklers and
yes. Yes.
You think that's going to happen in Corona times?
You miss those Vegas days? I mean, maybe they can just be a drive-by,
A drive-by sparkler celebration?
That's right. They'll just call you to come downstairs, and then there'll be the drive-by with a banner saying, "Congratulations, Andrew Neeme. You've reached
that'll be cool.
Champion status?
Champions Club.
Champions Club.
Get my status right.
Oh.
My elite top tier status. So yeah, that was good. I had the apartment to myself for about 24 hours.
30, maybe.
30 hours, yeah.
To be exact.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I went on a little jaunt to Joshua Tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a lovely little place. It's so hippy-dippy and just so lovely.
Right. Well, you came across some actual hippies too.
What do you mean? Oh, people living out of a...
normal society, living in tents, being one with the world, yoga teachers.
It was a short-term community. So they were there for a month.
It's not an ongoing lifestyle change for these folks.
No. I mean, there was, like I said, there were programmers, there were yoga teachers, there was a CEO, like the lady who put it together is apparently a CEO of some tech company in San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell me this?
I don't know if I did or not, but yeah, it was really interesting to see. It's kind of like Burning Man, but for an extended period of time, because everybody who went to this community had to bring something to share. So whether you were offering, like you were going to make breakfast for people or cook dinner or lead a yoga class. So there wasn't any actual money payment. But
so you weren't, you weren't staying with these in this little encampment or whatever.
No.
You were at an Airbnb.
Yeah, I was not invited.
Well, you didn't know what was going on, did you?
Well, I found out about it when it first began.
You would have brought some banana nut muffins, and they would have welcomed you with open arms.
With open arms.
Because, boy, do you make a good muffin, baby. Carry on.
I didn't see everybody who was at the camp. and we had to, wear our masks to even be allowed on the property. But I think there definitely should be more opportunities for people from varied backgrounds to just be together.
Sure.
Like one guy was building an app, a dating app, and somebody else builds out vans, these sprinter vans that you can now live in.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend's a yoga teacher, so very varied people all congregating in this
How do we facilitate that? People of various backgrounds getting together rather than everyone from the 6th floor at the office building getting together.
Yeah, and it's not even that. I mean, it's not even people from the same floor, right? It's usually like industry specific. So all the programmers together, all the dancers together.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I think there needs to be opportunity.
Should it be forced? Maybe she get a reward for it somehow. Government issued reward.
What does the government gain by it? Nothing.
Probably more cohesive society, less angst and class fighting situations like there are now.
I mean, but think about the opportunity to have, what are they called? They call them something in like the tech world, but these like collusions of opposing ideas when you have people that are not of the same industry.
Don't know.
But the idea I'm talking about, like intersectionality of wildly different ideas. You don't know you can kind of think what a yoga teacher and a tech person could come up with, but you don't know for sure. So I always find that really interesting, and I wish there was more opportunity for that.
Yeah.
Actually, my girlfriend, friend Felicia, has in Las Vegas, they have what's called leadership, and they do something similar where they have people in different industries around town get together. And I think it's like the first half of leadership, which is a year long, you don't really know what people do. You're not allowed to say, no, it's not the first half, but it's a good chunk of time at the beginning of the program where you're not allowed to ask people what they do for a living. So you just get to know a person, or you just get to know people.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I think like in America, we're sort of known for leading with that. Like, what do you do?
What do you do for a living?
Yeah. Just the phrase, what do you do, is like a standard opening-ish line.
Yeah, because people use it to categorize you. It's either if you are in a similar field, you're like, oh, how can I help this person, or how can they help me? And then also, do I need to give this person my time? Because it could be a waste of time if I'm so like career focused and this person spends their life painting flowers. What are they going to do for me?
I'm sure poker players would benefit a lot from some sort of interaction with other people, forced or not, with other career types. Because a lot of times poker players just stick together, and then they're sort of like off in their own matrix or unplugged from the matrix kind of situation.
But what about all the people that play in casinos that, there's a lot of businessmen that are not really in the poker world.
That's true. You do play with a lot of other people at the poker table.
But you're just referring to, I assign myself the label of professional poker player. And so I just hang out with other poker players.
Right.
So one of the ladies, apparently from this community, has an Airbnb in Idlewild. So she's been at this community, so hasn't been to her Airbnb obviously in a month.
Okay.
And her son's friend went there to pick up a bike and found a lady just living there.
In the Airbnb.
Yes. She wrote in the guest book. So it's not like she was trying to hide that she was there. She had groceries, flowers.
The hell?
Bought cushions.
How did she know that it was going to be available for so long?
Apparently, there are people that go on these sites like Airbnb and VRBO and look at when the property is unavailable. And what's crazier is that in California, apparently, if you did not break and enter You've done nothing wrong.
Get out of here.
So if somebody is in your house and they didn't break a lock or a window,
Get out of here.
they didn't break the law.
Get out of here.
That was the
That's
funniest
ridiculous.
story I heard in my 24-hour jaunt in Joshua Tree.
So like, will they like wake up in the morning and like check to make sure that the place is still available that day before evacuating? You think? They'll
I
go and
guess.
look on the
Yeah,
site?
I mean, especially a site like VRBO, you know, people have minimums. So 5-day minimum. So if it's not booked, then you know that week you probably
Yes, but can't
have.
you book it like same day?
Sure.
So
But you can also look at places that don't have same-day booking, where it needs to be approved first. So you know that somebody's not just going to show up.
okay, interesting,
But apparently there's people that do that.
smart.
And I was like, why?
So
I
clever.
would never think to do something like that.
So is this person homeless, or she just does this for fun? You think because he's buying groceries and stuff?
Well, I think we were all speculating,
Yeah.
but you know, possibly there's some like mental health issue there.
A lot of potential though, if they're figuring this out.
Yeah.
Either
but
way.
also, I'm like, how do you get in with the keypad?
Yeah. How did that work?
So I was thinking, okay, maybe she had stayed there before. But even if she had, you usually change the keypad with each new.
I would imagine. Yeah.
But maybe you don't.
Maybe
if you
she's a hacker.
I know.
Hacked her way in. Getting all this free stays all over the world. What a life.
Yeah, but I thought that
I'm
was really
impressed.
interesting.
That's cool.
So
/ scary, terrifying.
Mhm.
Yeah, California.
imagine walking into your Airbnb and having somebody just chilling.
Yeah, that'd be annoying if you booked a stay, packed all your stuff, drove 4 hours to California,
Yes,
and someone's in there.
when the son's friend arrived and said, "I'm staying here tonight," she just scurried off, took her stuff, and
Dang, that's
scurried
sketchy.
off.
But then it's not clean.
But also, you don't know when she'll be back. Apparently, that's what she wrote in the gifts book.
I'll be back.
I'm
You'll
looking
never know when
forward. I'm looking forward to I've been here twice. This is my second stay, and I'm looking forward to coming back again.
creepy. Thanks, lady.
So yeah,
Huh. Yeah.
but the park is beautiful, and if you haven't been,
Joshua Tree.
you should check it out.
It's like a park. Didn't know that.
It's
I thought it was just like an area.
it's a full-on. I mean, there is the Joshua Tree town,
Right.
but it's a full-on national park. It's massive.
Town and park.
Town and park.
Try them both. See what you prefer.
It is easily. I mean, it's easily 5x Red Rock.
The size of it.
Yes,
Sure. Okay.
it's beautiful. So
Red
yeah.
Rock's not really that big. Nothing in Vegas is that big.
Okay. Well, there's that. Nothing in Vegas is that big.
Aside from the MGM Grand. That's pretty big.
Is
I
it?
think it might have, at one point it had the most number of hotel rooms in any hotel.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's still the case.
I don't know that. I didn't know that. All right. Are you ready to fall in love?
It's that
Andrew,
time again, huh?
It's that time. Falling in love. Falling more deeply in love time.
Okay, let's do it.
So we are working our way through the 36 questions that lead to love. These questions were published in the New York Times. And we are on question number 8.
All right.
And question number 8 says, name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common.
You
You gonna go first?
want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the obvious one is the professional track that we have been on, which is like pretty non-traditional. And I think we were both interested in that from day one of like meeting each other. So I think that's a big one. I think we both like doing things like socially and like going out with either each other or like the occasional dinner out or having dinner with friends and stuff, but also like value time alone. So I think that's another.
Seem to be struggling a little bit here.
We both like banana nut muffins.
Okay.
made by you. I don't know. We both like travel.
Hey, that's mine.
Stolen.
Okay.
I think that's a big one. So that's my 3.
Okay. What we have in common.
Come up with something good.
I think the love of good food is common.
Sure.
Like, I would die if you were just like, food is just fuel. And
Okay.
you just only wanted to eat drink protein shakes and eat egg whites. That would have been... I mean, the bodies that come from that are gorgeous, but no.
So you're saying my body is not quite gorgeous? Whatever. Next.
Your body's perfect.
Okay. Sure. Perfect.
And what else do we have in common?
Well, I stole a lot of the big ones.
Yeah, love of travel.
It's easier for me because I get to choose from everything. Now you have to choose from 3 less than everything.
Experiences over things.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both value having an experience than buying a thing. And one thing that I've made common in our relationship is not buying each other gifts. For the most
Did you
part.
do that? Or did I just stop buying you things and you're like, I guess we're not doing this anymore?
No. I was very explicit and intentional about it. Say no more.
I didn't know we officially agreed to that, like, permanently.
I mean, I
think it's a
No,
carry.
I think it's more of a... There's no pressure. So there's no pressure to have a birthday gift or a Christmas gift. But if you bought me a gift or I bought you a gift, which we still do,
Yeah.
it's nice. But there's not this like pressure of having
Okay.
to like show up with a gift on your birthday.
I think it's just a carryover from when we were broke.
So we're just like, just keep this going anyway. You think so? I don't think so, because you bought me more gifts, I think, when you were broke than when...
Nowadays?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I
What
don't
does that
know
say
either.
about you?
I'm not sure. I don't want to know. We'll see. We'll see how that could evolve over time. But
And I think...
I do agree. We both experience. We both value experiences over material things.
Right. And I think as well with our families, so that I have 3, not like you. So like there's a deep love and appreciation for being with family, but it's not like either of our family takes over any of our lives.
Yeah.
So I think that's something in common, because there's obviously a lot of relationships where, you know, you just spend time with your family only or my family only or that type of thing. So.
Yeah. Good answers all around.
All right. Number 9. For what in life do you feel most grateful?
You want to go first?
That's hard. One thing. Most grateful. Honestly, I think perfect health.
Yeah.
You know, above relationships, or because without my health, I wouldn't be able to pursue any of these things anyway. So, yes, if I had the best love and I was bedridden, okay, it's nice to know that somebody would be there to look after me, but health is what I'm most grateful for.
Yeah.
How about you?
That was also my first thought.
Really?
And probably also, I agree, because if you don't have health, what do you have? A close runner-up challenger to that is just having opportunities to like do whatever I want, pursue whatever I want. You know, having not only just shelter, but like a nice place to call home, and just, not really have to worry about like what so much of the world's population has to worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if I was in this lovely little apartment, but like my legs were constantly as sore as they were this past week, like for my entire life, then life would not be as enjoyable no matter what sort of lovely little apartment you're in.
That's got nothing to do with health.
I'm saying,
stiffness.
I'm not saying like from paintball. I'm saying if I suffered from some sort of chronic pain.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to question 10, shall we? Okay, whoa. If you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Hmm.
Are you going to go first this time?
Sure. I mean, I think we've privately discussed this in the past, but
You ready to share it with the world?
yes, I would probably change. I mean, so like my upbringing was very much like filled with love and support, you know. So like on that front, my parents get like 100, you know, but I was never really like, I guess. So they like really encouraged doing well in school, you know. So for the most part, I always had pretty good grades. I think like the flip side of that is like a deeper understanding of like entrepreneurial type stuff, or just like, you know, grinding a job. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to do like all of that. So I think I might choose like maybe a little bit more balanced of experience coming up as a kid, as a young man, learning a little bit more about like the real grind of the world rather than the Civil War, for example, you know, in school.
Sure.
So a little bit less focus on that sort of a thing, more focus on like getting out there in the real world.
What do you think that would have changed? Which is an ancillary question, my question.
Well, I mean, so everyone sort of ends up in the real world on the grind, you know, and there's so much of that info. So I mean, like so much. I feel like in school they teach you things that it's such a wide variety of things, like in case something might be of interest to you, and then you can go down that path. There's probably other reasons why they teach you this stuff, this propaganda type material, which we don't need to go into. But yeah, I don't know. You're just I feel like it took me a while to sort of like understand like what hard work in the real world sort of looked like and what was required in order to get traction. I feel like that could have been learned earlier. Yeah.
Okay. I probably, obviously, in an ideal world, I would want to change a lot of things. The thing that had the most impact on me, oh, this is a hard one.
Take your time, baby.
What would I change? Would I change the amount of money my parents have? But that's not the way I was raised, right?
I guess you could say something like that.
So,
but
that's not really about the way you were raised.
Sure, I mean, it depends how you.
It is.
Depends how you interpret the question, I guess.
Right. Like if I was raised and my parents had less money anxiety, it would have changed the things that I valued sooner. So for me, like understanding who I was and how I want to show up in the world versus chasing jobs that are promising more money, right? So for example, like I was like, oh, I want to study economics, because you study economics, you work in business, and boom, you're just gonna have like all the money.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, if you're not really into that thing, it's hard to make a lot of money from it anyway. So I think if I could change my parents' financial situation and then how they looked at money, then yeah, I think that would have been different. So like valuing the things that you are maybe have an aptitude for, or things that you're more interested in, versus just chasing like jobs or career paths that promise a lot of money.
So is that like, did your parents like nudge you towards that sort of a thing?
Sure. Like my dad was very against the arts. My sister went to art school, and that was a huge conversation. That was like a year-long conversation where my mom was like, you have to let her go to art school. That's what she's into. And he was just like, I don't want her to starve. Artists don't make any money.
Sure.
So I think if we had more of like, but that's not how the world worked then either, right? Because I think before, accountants and lawyers were more rewarded more frequently than somebody trying to be an artist. Even though we had in our family, like one of my dad's cousins was an artist, and that was his life. Like he painted, and he was just the coolest guy because he was always high, painted, had cocktails, just living the life. And I was just okay, why am I not allowed to live this life?
Did he live like a meager type life? Or?
No, extravagant. He had the best house.
What the hell?
Yeah, he had the best house. He sold his art to like, famous South African celebrities and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was like, that created dissonance, right? So I think my older sister, that's what she was inspired by. Like, oh, I have this aptitude, and here I see a live example of somebody who is making money from art. And she made money from her art even while in art school. She used to sell her paintings. I wasn't like more that artistically inclined, but I think just the knowing that you could do more than just these like business, lawyer, doctor type careers, and not fear that you'll starve.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that.
I'm sure my mom is going to be watching this, so don't worry, Mom. You did great. You did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that I think my parents did a very good job with what
I imagine it's like
with what they had, right?
it's pretty tough to be perfect in every aspect.
Is it though?
Is it?
Is it?
Probably pretty tough. I'd imagine. Probably kind of tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my parents, they would say like, just do the. I assume they would sum up their methodology in terms of like just saying like we just want you to be happy, like do what makes you happy. But I mean, which is great. That's awesome. It's just like a slightly on the esoteric side. I feel like it's just like it's tough, and like say like so I would we had the drum set at the parents' house, which is like that's got to be like a pretty big embracing of letting your kid do what he wants and having them be happy. Having a drum set in your house as they're learning the drums.
Jesus, I can't even imagine. Thank God they have those electric drum sets now.
Yeah. So yeah, like we had the band with my friends and stuff when we were in high school or whatever. But we just sort of like have to figure out how that works as a kid. I feel like sometimes some of the real like successful musicians have like music industry parents or whatever, and they know that like, okay, so you do this, you go to the like professional studio and you like do this with your promotional work and blah blah blah.
Right. So
yeah, that's sort of like I think there's something to be learned from like the entrepreneurial side, like I was saying. But
sure. I mean, there's also like the idea of
don't worry about it. You did fine, Mom.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes.
All right. Okay, we're going to skip this one. Question 11 says, take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible.
You already know it.
No, I think we can...
It's boring. You don't need to know it
We
again.
can use that question in another one because question 10 was a lot more in-depth.
Okay.
So question 12 says, if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be?
Any new quality or ability?
Yes.
Like superpower or like actual like normal type human stuff?
Well, it doesn't specify that, baby. I read the question. It says, having gained any
What's
one
your interpretation,
quality
though?
or ability. I mean, if you want a superpower, have a superpower.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go first? Well, I think of something good.
Wow. These are hard now. The first couple were like easy.
I feel like I'm pretty reasonably happy with the qualities that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there's like some skills that I wish I had, like public speaking to a live audience or like best guitar player ever, different like skills like that. Qualities I feel like I'm mostly okay with, aside from maybe like some social anxiety type stuff. So then you got to get into like superpower stuff, I think, from that. Okay. So like if I could know tomorrow's lottery numbers, if I could foresee the future, because then like sometimes I definitely focus on the numbers, like the money numbers too closely rather than the pursuit of something that makes me happy,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like just having the money and not having to worry about the number anymore and just focusing on what makes me happy.
That would free you to just focus on
Yeah.
the what.
Yes.
The what. So that would be...
I don't know what superpower that is exactly, but like, because I don't want to know all about the future. I only want to know enough about the future to capitalize on it dollar-wise.
So like if you knew that Bitcoin would go from $3,600 to $20,000 in 2020, you would have then bought.
Well, there's a much easier
more
way.
Bitcoin.
There's a much easier and faster way. Just like knowing, like I said,
lottery.
the lottery, yeah, because that's a huge lump sum.
So you want
'Cause I can only-
instantaneous.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you don't want to know like stock price of Zoom 3 months from now.
No,
Okay.
because you need more capital to capitalize on that bigger.
Right.
So if the lottery is like the biggest return on like $5 that there is.
Okay, so you're saying you only want one. You want the quality to be one-time use. This is not a genie. You know what I mean?
Well,
Your
superpower.
quality or superpower doesn't have to be
Like
a
ongoing.
one-time use,
Well,
right?
that's the
Like
thing.
if you wanted to develop the quality of compassion, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to just be compassionate one time and then the rest of the life you're not?
Well, that's what I said,
compassionate?
because I don't want to know everything about the future. I just want to know one instance of one aspect of the future.
Okay.
Fine, X-ray vision, whatever.
Okay. I mean,
Flying, the ability to fly, that's a good one.
where are you flying to?
Just for my own entertainment.
Okay.
The ability to not time travel. What's it?
Warp time?
Like, yeah, when you just show up in China instantly.
It is kind of time travel, no?
Whatever.
No? Okay.
Give me yours.
Yeah, that I was just about to say they asked for one.
Go on.
I don't hate the human experience, so I don't think I want like a superpower quality, because that comes with its own issues too. Like, I have it, somebody else doesn't have it. Now I have the responsibility to. No, I don't want any of that. I don't want. No. But there is that thing that I struggle with sometimes, which is, so you know when you learn something new, there's a time when you should go ahead with the limited knowledge, like you have the basics,
Mm-hmm.
and you should just continue forward on that path, right, to get better, because that's how you get better.
Yeah.
Instead of staying here and learning more and not doing the thing.
All right.
But there's also a time when you don't know, so not knowing is going to cause you a lot more grief. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? So, for example, I'll use a poker example, even though I don't play poker. If I went to a 1-2 game with a decent buy-in, right? And I know the basics of poker, so I'll have a good time at that game.
Okay.
And then I win like $50,000. So instead of progressing through the stakes, I'm just like, why? I'm just going to play 200, 400 with Doug Polk. Do you know what I mean? Like, I should know that my skill level as a 1-2 player is not sufficient to play 200, 400 heads up, even though I have the bankroll to do that.
Okay.
And so sometimes I find myself looking for more information first, instead of just like using the information I have to get on the path and do the thing. You're not getting it.
Okay. I think so. So what is the thing? What is the quality?
I would want the ability to know the difference. Like, know when I'm just supposed to do the actual practical thing instead of learning more about a subject, or when I need to learn more about a subject before I just throw myself completely in the thing. Another example is like baking a cake. Like, I know the basics of baking a cake, right? You just put the ingredients together, mix it up, put it in the oven. Like, I don't need to read a book on how to bake a cake.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to make some like super fancy pastry from Jean-Philippe's, then I probably do need to learn some like techniques the French pastry chefs use to make that pastry just so, like, so that the meringue doesn't flop or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
So I've given 2 examples. You understand now?
Somewhat.
Because I think that yeah, like sometimes that stops me a lot. Just like I'm talking about my work, like in trading. Like sometimes I know that I should do the thing, like try this new strategy first based on the information that I have, instead of going, no, I need to learn more about options before I ever place an options trade.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Think
if
so.
I knew that quickly,
Hmm.
then I think that would be a good ability to have.
Wow. Okay. I think both of our answers are kind of all over the place.
Should we try again?
No.
Just leave it as is.
Yeah.
I mean, are you falling more in love right now?
Sure. Of course.
Of course.
Getting to know you on a deeper, more confusing level.
Okay. Should we do one more question?
All right.
These questions are getting very deep.
Yes.
If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? Mine's easy. So.
Will I ever have a pet cat?
Aww.
Just kidding. That's not it.
Should I go first? Because you don't want yours to suck after mine.
Well, I feel like all of my answers keep coming back to money. So, I mean, I guess it would be interesting to know, like, what will my peak net worth be by like age 60 or so.
Okay.
So that I just like sort of know and don't have to like stress about whether it's going to get to this number,
Yes.
you know? So I guess that's one thing.
Yeah, I said how much money I'd have.
Yeah.
When I saw, after reading the question, I was like, how much money will I have in this
I think we obsess
lifetime?
over money a little bit too much in
I
this
think so.
household.
Yeah.
The other answer potentially would be, will we have kids or not? Because
Really?
then we don't have to,
Talk about it.
yeah, not necessarily talk about it, but like have it take up a lot of
Mental space.
and stress over like getting into the correct financial and personal situation before making the decision and all that stuff. So one of those two. Flip a coin. Either one. Kids or cash.
Kids or cash?
So yours is the cash.
Yours is the kids?
Sure.
Okay. Kids or cash?
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting stuff here.
Yeah. So next week we'll start with the take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible.
I
Or
don't
should
know.
we just skip that
sounds
one?
boring.
Okay. So, shall we go ahead and take a look at some listener feedback?
We should.
All right. We have a question. Hello. Question from an anonymous French listener living in San Francisco. I wonder who that is.
I think it's Jean-Francois.
Of course. If you had to choose one and only one poker game for the rest of your life, which would it be and why would it be PLO?
Yeah. No Limits getting too close to solved for my liking. PLO, no one's solving nothing yet.
We got a message from Kevin, and Kevin says, "Hey, Busi and Andrew, was watching your newest episode of Tells while procrastinating at work." Yes, that is exactly what Tells is for.
Exactly.
You asked whether or not we should measure love. No, absolutely not. Not everything in life has to be measured. Feelings, especially strange ones, such as love, don't need to be rationalized to that extent. I think that's a product of capitalism, where everything we do has to be ranked to see what is valuable because it involves our time, and time is money. I agree with Andrew that it can cause more anxiety. I disagree that it would help analytical people. It attempts to turn relationships into a series of inputs and outputs when it should be fluid and based on the needs of the specific relationship. There isn't a relationship tracker for HUD. There's no need to track your all-in love equity. Anyway, stay safe, and I look forward to the next episode.
Well said, Kevin. Thumbs up. I agree. I agree that you agree with me.
James, a listener of this podcast as well, said we should not measure love. He says, and I said, but Andrew needs to learn the GTO way to love me.
Which is just what?
How do you learn poker? Study.
Study.
Yeah.
Put the time in.
yeah, study me.
Okay.
Learn the GTO way
Well, I'll
to
study.
love me.
I'll study you.
Okay, that's not like that.
Thanks for the message, Kevin and James.
So I guess we'll not be measuring love.
Yeah,
No
smart.
tiles out. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for the messages, Kevin and James. If you would like to get in touch, tell them how I love.
hello@tilespodcast.com is our email address. But if you would like to use your text fingers, you can write us a message at 702-690-9299 or call and leave us a voice message. We want to hear your beautiful voice.
I dare you. I dare someone to call us and leave us a voice message and then listen to yourself get played back on this show. I double dare you. What?
Are we
Is that
5?
weird?
Are we 5? I dare you.
You won't do it.
Okay.
You ain't got it in you.
All right. I think that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for listening to Tells. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. We enjoy reading the comments. And also share it with your friends. They might like it too. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.